Welcome. Namaste. So welcome back to your basic yoga posture of the week. My name is Jessie, aka Moonchild Yoga. And this week and over the next several weeks, I am visiting some basic foundational yoga postures. Basically, I am explaining how to get into the postures and demonstrating that and some simple modifications for your own unique, beautiful bodies to help you to get into these postures and explore them. So this week's basic foundational yoga posture is Vrksasana, or AKA tree pose. So tree pose is really great for helping to maintain balance and stability. It helps to strengthen the legs and the ankles and the core. And it also helps with mental stability as well, because you really have to focus sometimes to utilize that balancing aspect. So I will demonstrate this posture in its original form in my own body. And I will also demonstrate a couple of modifications using a chair. And also one modification standing. As it turns out, in my own beautiful body, the only way that I can come into this posture is by modifying it. So the typical way of coming into the posture is to stand on one leg, so finding stability in one leg, and then you're going to bring the sole of the foot of the other leg on the inside of the standing leg. So for me, it depends on which side I'm doing. So if I'm standing on my left side, I pretty much have to use that foot as a kickstand. I cannot balance as well on my left leg as my right. And then so with the right foot on the inside, using it as a kickstand, I'm going to bring my right knee just out to the right here. And I'm just going to simply let my hands hang down by my hips. And then tucking my tailbone up towards my navel, bringing my shoulders down my back, finding length in my spine, and then softening my face, neck, and jaw. And then just breathing in to what I'm feeling here. And then so coming into the posture on the other side, as I said, on the left side, I have a little more trouble balancing, but on my right side, it's not as hard for me. So I'm simply going to raise my right toes up, spread them out, press down through all four corners of my right foot, keeping a soft bend in my right knee. On my inhale, I'm going to draw the left knee up towards my chest. And then on my exhale, I'm going to bring the sole of the left foot below the right knee. So that is a key aspect in your tree pose. You do not want to rest your foot on the inner portion of the knee because that can create strain. And you want to try to keep the sole of the left foot, or the sole of whichever foot you're doing, depending on the side. You want to keep that nice and light on the inside of the other leg. And then just gently pressing the left knee out towards the left. And so to come out of your tree pose, you're simply going to bring the bent knee, so for me, that's my left knee, up towards your chest as you inhale. And then exhale, you're going to return as gracefully as you can, the left foot down to the earth to be parallel with the right one, again, depending on which side you're doing. And then perhaps you simply begin to bend your knees and just kind of rock from side to side, just kind of releasing any sort of tension or sensation that may have built up from being in the posture and exploring this posture. And so one modification that you can do with your tree pose is using a chair for balance. So to come into the full expression of tree pose, if you've heard about Vrksasana tree pose or you've seen folks actually coming into the posture, a lot of times, depending on which leg they're standing on. I'm going to stand on my right leg for this modification. They will bring that sole of the opposite foot on the inside of their thigh. For me, that does not work in my body unless I am using a prop. So I have to come into the posture by spreading out through my toes, pressing down through the four corners of the feet, keeping that soft bend in that right knee, and drawing my left knee up, and I have to guide my left foot on the inside of my right thigh. So this is your traditional Vrksasana tree pose. Like I said, most folks, or other folks, should I say, can do this posture in this way a lot of times without a chair. And like I said, a lot of times if you hear this posture or see it, you'll see it performed in this way by folks who are able to maintain balance a little more easily than I am. But I always like to have my chair on board for this. And then once you get into this, you just press that bent knee. So for me, that's on the left side, out towards the left. You can place that corresponding hand on the inside of that knee. That also helps to guide the knee out. Growing long and tall in the spine, softening down through your shoulders. Soften your face and jaw. And breathe into what you feel here. And if coming into the posture full form by bringing that foot all the way up to the inner groin or the inner thigh does not work for you even with a chair, you can always feel free to find balance and stability in your standing leg. So I'm going to do the posture on my right side now. So I'm finding some stability in my left leg, and then I'll bring the sole of the right foot on the inside of the left calf. So once again, you want to go either above or below your knee. Do not press your foot into your knee because that can create strain on your knee. And I have a lot of issues with both of my knees. So spoken from experience, that is not a fun thing to do. You definitely want to be nice to your knees. And then you just gently press out on your right knee. So if you're doing it on the right side, such as I am, you're going to gently press out on your right knee and press it away from your body, making sure to keep the sole of the foot touching as lightly to the inside of your standing leg as possible. Finding length in the spine and then softening down through the shoulders. Soften your face and jaw. And perhaps if you'd like to come into the mental stability portion more deeply, closing your eyes down. So challenging yourself here to close your eyes down and breathe in to what you feel. Another modification for your Vrksasana tree pose with a chair is actually doing the pose seated in a chair. So if doing this posture standing up is simply too much for you, even with using the chair as a support under your hand, you can always just have a seat and do the posture or come into the posture in a chair. And so there are two different ways. There are a million different ways that you can do this, but I'm going to demonstrate two main different ways. And so if you're doing it on the right side, you're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee and then just simply press down on your right knee here. And let your right foot hang parallel to the earth. Grow long and tall in your spine. Perhaps you let your hands hang down by your hips, so down towards the earth. And maintaining stability in that left foot, even though you're seated, can be a key component to getting you more deeply into the posture. So pressing down through those four corners of the left foot and flexing out through your left toes. Let your shoulders be soft down your back, soften your face and jaw, and perhaps you come into the mental stability portion of the posture more deeply by closing your eyes. And see when you do this, if you can just simply tune into what you're feeling here, pressing down more firmly through that right knee, and just breathe in to what you feel. So to come out of this posture from a seated position, you're simply going to, depending on which modification you're exploring, from this modification, you are going to simply place the hand on the corresponding hand on the corresponding knee, draw the knee up towards the chest, and then place that sole of the foot back onto the earth. Another modification, or a second modification, to demonstrate while you're in a seated position for your Vrksasana tree pose is to come a little bit more towards the edge of the seat, if that feels okay for you for balance. So this is where you'll challenge your balance from a seated position. And depending on which side you're doing, you're going to straighten out one of your legs, and then you're going to bring the sole of the opposite foot on the inside of that straightened leg. And so you'll notice for me that I cannot press my knee down any further than this, but this still gives me plenty of sensation here. And if you have the flexibility, you can absolutely bring your foot up higher. I suggest that if you're a beginner, especially if you've never explored this posture, that you start with your foot down lower. Grow long and tall in your spine and let your hands rest. Perhaps they rest on your thighs, or perhaps they just hang down by your hips. And simply breathe into what you feel here. And from our second modification, you're simply going to rise that corresponding knee back up towards the chest. And same deal, you're going to bring both soles of the feet down to the earth. Thank you so much for checking out my breakdown of our basic foundational yoga posture of the week, this week being Vrksasana tree pose. As always, I am open to any questions or comments you may have. Please feel free to leave those in the comment section or reach out directly to me. Join us next week as we begin our exploration of the warrior poses. So next week will be Week-Vrksasana 1, Warrior 1 pose. I look forward to seeing you there for the breakdown of that foundational yoga posture. And if you like what you see, please feel free to hit the like button and or subscribe. And I will see you soon. I hope you have a lovely day. Namaste.